page yet. And the rest, that I said, maximum 1 minute, maximum 3 slides. One of which should be about what they want to do, what they need in terms of this and how it fits with the Wikicite. Of course,
yeah.
And we can have any number of pitches, basically, but we're limited to 3 per person. Right now, nobody has put in a second. Well, I have no list. I will probably put in a second.
Then how do we do it if people put in more than one? How do they work on them simultaneously, or do they do
we have
morning,
different
afternoon?
time slots. So it's up to them. Also, sometimes it is that somebody comes and has an idea of them actually working. As long as someone's working on it, I'm fine.
Right.
So we just finished preparing your deck.
Okay.
If there's anything that you guys want to add,
Can you link it from somewhere, from the Etherpad?
I think it is already on the
it should be there.
Yeah, I saw this one. Remember they put it on the first, on there. It's called day 1, but it's day 3.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just to, so it starts at, we're going to set it up now. It starts at slide 27. So you know what we have here. Program. I'll send you a pitch just for people who are new to it. Again, cleaning your spot, we should keep these are not spots for ideas, just placeholders as a convenience.
Visualization ideas are being worked on.
Many people are show and tell, so how we stick around because it's going to be an exciting session at the end of the day. We have information for scholarship recipients on Meta, and they will have time for the next 30 days to claim reimbursement. I'm looking for the comments. I don't know if they have a category yet for Wikicite because it's good to remind people. And then I'm going to probably this is something we can do during the roundup at the end of giving to thank sponsors. Yep. Anything else you want to add? Just feel free to grab this.
Okay. I can add it to the thing.
Yeah.
We were just talking about what else we wanted to mention.
So we're going to start in 2 minutes. I'm going to start breaking it up.
I was asked by Elaine and by Kronbach. They both want to do interviews, and so I told them they should submit a pitch. If they don't have one, we should mention it.
We're starting.
Okay. So they want to basically just
Perfect. It's streaming already.
You
start recording it.
Okay.
Mic check 1.
And then
ready to go. The big problem then is how do people find each other? So we should probably allow for some form of mingling.
right.
And so we have right after the pitches. So we have pitches and the planning. So we have basically 45 minutes for the pitches, and we have also on my list. We have
Perfect.
So we have 15 now. Oh yeah, the regulars was mentioned there, so we don't need to do it. We have 15 pitches, that's 15 minutes, and
Most of what we'll do, we'll be here for like an hour. Most of it will be looking at humans speaking
find each
English.
other.
So we're fine.
Then we have the break, and that helps finding each other again.
When is the next time we all get together?
Maybe
Lunch?
Like we told, yeah. Like
Okay, yeah.
and another thing we should point out is those 5 minutes of documentation.
It's going to do. It is going to do. It's
I'll come to the front as well.
That's a significant portion of the work. So, when it comes to species stuff, the Commons folk don't like using Wikidata at the moment. Yeah, here's
Very bright light.
those in charge of the what we increase the species don't want
The video game.
and it's got on their data. So that's why yes. You can change if they want to. I just don't like how we go to these species. But if they don't like it, then we should bloody well come in and change it.
It's not highly immediate. It's
No.
everybody thinks something.
No. And so I'm disregarding and looking at that. Because if they don't like it, start the model looking at and they're you don't start doing it yourself.
That's what they're
But you know, I feel like the main duties are already.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started now. So welcome everybody. Hope everybody had a good time last night. And you know, those of us who live in California, we are very grateful for the rain. But I'm sure people visiting sunny California are not as grateful. But day 3, you know, as we were been framing it, you know, the first day was really about setting the stage and giving us some context about the work that's been done and where we can move from the work that we've done in the past. Yesterday was really about thinking about the future and what should be our priorities. And then today, as we've been discussing, is really about taking your ideas and your actions and the actual projects that you could do, both technical and non-technical work, and really spending the day working together on projects. So I sent out an email and then we talked about it a little bit. So, but we'd like to just review the process for this morning and then how things will work throughout the day. Okay? So we're going to start with idea pitches. So some of you have done this before. The idea pitch, as it's written in up on Meta, is there's a description of what the format of an idea pitch is. We're hoping people have signed up. We saw there's about 15 already up there. There's still time for you to add yours at the bottom of that page. An idea pitch means coming up here with a 1-minute presentation on what your idea is. It can include 3 slides or no slides at all. It's up to you. We want to make sure that you're including information about how it relates to Wikicite and where you will be throughout the day. So we want to think about like how will other people find you and what kind of skills and expertise you're looking for, or what kind of skills are needed to help you with your project. So just to review, if you have an idea, you should be putting it within the idea pitch page and thinking about how you would present it to the group, with thinking about 3 main things. One is how you're going to get it done and what kind of skills you need to help you, where you're going to be so people can find you, and how does it relate to Wikicite? Yay, you were listening. Okay, so we had some people asking about how the program works for today, like how physically the wiki page works. So you can see up there, we're going to be moving into the idea pitches next. That's where we'll move over and you'll see the list of idea pitches that people will come down and present. We'll have a break for people to start organizing throughout the building. Now that we're in the venue, it should make a little more sense that The columns below are about areas within the Goldman Theater, the Kinsey Room, or the Gallery, or the Tamal Pius Room. These are just placeholders. They are physical locations that are just made up, right? So within the Goldman Room, we were thinking could be room for 4 groups in here. That doesn't mean that we have determined that that's the A, B, and C, and D. It's really about just when you have pitched your idea, you can claim a space, and if it's important for your project to have a physical space, it'd be good for you to claim one of these spaces in one of these time slots so that people can find you. And you can choose one of these spots, and the reason why we did it this way is just so that there would not be too many people in too many rooms, in the rooms.
And also, if you wanted to claim a spot, if you thought your thing was gonna take the whole day, you could claim a spot in each of the time slots.
Yeah, there are multiple time slots, so just make sure that if you want to be there all day, you just scroll down and claim it again further down the page. Yep. Does everybody understand that the way the kind of physical space claiming process would work for all you idea pitching people?
Oh, and also, for people to edit this, it's kind of confusing. You will need to click on the Happy Day link, because this is transcoded. So go there, click on that link, and you'll be able to edit individual templates.
And
Yeah,
you
if you don't help, comment.
find somebody to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, as always, there are many people here to help. We're a very helpful community. Okay, so then throughout the day we'll have additional time slots for working on projects. If your project takes just one morning, you can think about how to construct it for that, or if it's an all day, as we were saying, you can claim multiple spots or think about how to work that way. When you're doing your idea pitch, it doesn't have to just be about telling people how to find you physically within the building. It can also be virtually through a hashtag or on Twitter or Telegram or something. But the idea will be that throughout the day we'll also have dedicated time slots for documentation. So one of the things we learned from past events is there hasn't been when there's not time set aside for documentation, it's one of the things that can fall through the cracks. So we put time slots in that at the end of each of our time blocks there is an area set aside just for documentation. And that means you stopping your work and thinking about how you can document what has been done. And then at the end of the day at 4:30, we'll be doing a show and tell. So this is for each of the projects that's been worked on today to have some time to come up and do a show and tell. Just a little more housekeeping. Those that have expenses and things that they need to submit for scholarships, that information is up on Meta for reimbursements, and just to let you know that you can go to Meta anytime and learn more about how to submit for reimbursements. And also that if you've been taking photos, please upload them to the Commons. There should be a category of Wikicite 2018. If not, someone make it. All right, it's there. It's been confirmed. And with that, we have no other announcements. Does anybody have any questions about what I've said? That's awesome. Dario has a comment.
Yeah, a reminder that we also have a lightning talk session that is full.
Okay.
My understanding is that it's full.
Yeah, on the schedule you'll see a lightning talk session, and it is full. So it'll be exciting.
That's right after lunch, right?
It's right after. It's at 1.
Sorry?
It's at 1. Okay. Daniel, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, one thing to add, in principle, you can have more than one idea pitch. Sometimes an idea just doesn't find anyone who's interested to work on it or something like this, doesn't work out, or you just have multiple ideas maybe for the different time slots you have during the day. So nobody has proposed more than one idea. That's fine. But if you want to, you can do up to 3. And right now, the time that we've planned for the pitches is sufficient for the number of pitches. I would still encourage those who haven't spoken here or haven't made a pitch to put one in. And now we can get started.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the group 2 pitches.
After each round, we will reload the page.
I have a process question.
Yes?
So, I have an idea, but if there's not much interest in it, I'd rather like join someone else's. So, is there a process by which we
Yes.
consolidate and eliminate?
That's the natural way of doing this. So some of those ideals, they will just remain ideas. They will not be worked on. That's just the way it is. Everybody votes with their feet, and they can even change their vote anytime during the day. The important thing is that the idea is being recorded, both on the wiki and even through the live stream. So whenever someone resonates with that idea at any later point in time, they can start working on it. They know that you're interested in it. And maybe then it will actually be worked on like 3 weeks later. That's completely fine.
So should I try to claim a room before I find out?
Whatever you think is better.
Okay.
Claim a space, no one shows up, remove your space and go join someone else. I think that'd be great. Can somebody, Marilyn, can you do the time for us? Okay, so we're gonna go and get started.
1 minute each, yes. And we'll go in order based on the wiki page. And for notes and question and answers, I'll use the
Yep. So all you idea pitch people, you know who you are. If you want to start lining up or just coming up from this way.
Or the wrong way.
Or the wrong way, either way. Wrong way, right way. I think this is ready, we're ready.
Hi everybody, we're here to pitch development of a souped up mix and match plus quick statements tool that would assist for local MARC authority file ingest. Librarians have a lot of structured data existing, but the statements that can be inferred from it aren't necessarily appropriate for inclusion in wiki statements, so we're looking for a gamified UI that would do some pre-processing logic to figure out what's likely to be made based on the unstructured textual data that exists in these files, and also to verify whether or not the structured data is in fact appropriately translated. That's all the other information is in the slides, and you can read it, and we can't get it out in a minute.
Okay, we should make sure that we include in our talks where people can find you or how they can find you. Do you want to add one sentence?
Yeah, we'll put something in the slides after we finish this.
Great, thank you.
So, could you raise your hand if you've ever written a Wikipedia article start to finish, even if it was just a paragraph or two? Okay, that's awesome. Some people didn't raise their hands, and I think this is a session for both groups. But if you never have, it's a great opportunity. We're writing Wikipedia articles about newspapers. There are also a lot of related tasks, updating the relevant wiki data, putting an info box on an article that doesn't already have it. But it's a great opportunity to get the sense of what does it take to do it from start to finish. And I'm really hoping that we can get a group of people and crank through a few. This project is towards the end of its 6-month time period. And so it would be nice to kind of get an extra boost as we approach our deadline, which is December 15th, and get some articles out of this conference. We're going to be meeting in Tunnel Pace 1A, and I think immediately after this, right? The first session. Yeah. Thanks.
Clap. It gives me time to help get the next one going. Okay, so this is just going to be a session where we can try and capture some of the workflows that we've already developed. I say it's just been a structured conversation where some people are taking notes, and we try and put together a framework where people can replicate what we've already done. It's as simple as that. I'll claim a room. If you want to join me, you're very welcome to do so.
Okay, my suggestion is inspired by the comment that Siobhan made towards the end of her talk, that it would be nice that when she's trying to document the biodiversity materials she's working on and wants to link to a publication, that we would find a way to make that easier. And for that, I suggest that we adapt the existing tool Fatame to understand data set UI so that we can import biodiversity literature that sits in is another repository called Biodiversity Literature Repository. And we start with type specimens, and for that we need someone who understands data type DOIs, someone who understands Python, which is what Fatemeh was written in, and someone who understands biodiversity. And we will be in room Kinsey 5A that I've just renamed Kinsey 5A Biodiversity.
Hi everyone. Well, it's just an idea I added, but I'm not sure I want to work on it today. But if someone is very enthusiastic about that, we can have a talk about that. So basically, it's if you're familiar with web components, it's this technology to have in HTML like new markups to create sort of new elements. Like you have the video markup. Well, now you can create your Wikidata input markup, and so or citation markup, and so we could bring the ref markup anywhere in the web, and it could be like linking to an entity like a work or a specific editions, and then we could have customized behaviors like link this entity and show different displays in different possible front-end, in-front, back, Wikidata, Wikipedia, etc. So well, it's just experimentation that we could do around web components. And to find me, I guess I will be somewhere around the gallery. I don't know, I heard the Wikibase things were, I don't know, well, find me.
All right, hi, I'm Alex Provo, also presenting for Zhao Li Li. We were part of group 2, so we have slides. Yeah, and I'm hoping you'll come join us. Our pitch, we want to create more creators. So this was something we talked about in our session. So increase Wikidata creators and contributors, bring new communities in. We thought to start with professional metadata creators like librarians, since that's who the two of us are. And so we thought we would develop a training plan that makes use of existing resources and plugs into other existing communities and frameworks like the Carpentries. So we want to draft some exercises that illustrate the value specifically of creating specialized bibliographic corpora in Wikidata. Wow, we have a lot of text on here. Yeah, we want to just empower more people who can contribute their professional knowledge. Okay, that's it. You can read this later, and I'll put a room on the thing, because I don't know where I'll be yet, but I'll tell you. Thanks.
Another Group 2 veteran. So the title is basically the pitch. How to find layers of data to be valuable for Wikicite. My attempt to make this more concrete is narrow this Wikicite instead of any kind of specialty wiki. And who should show up if you know what would help develop, expand, accelerate the growth of Wikicite, what kind of data elements. Show up, please. If you've had success or not in getting data from other sources, please show up and tell us how that worked. If you work for an organization that has potentially valuable data and has an uneven track record of making it available, please show up. And I'll see you in 1A Kinsey.
So I'm from India. A friend of mine is a librarian, and she reached out to me that her library just got their first computer, and they don't have a digital catalog or anything, and now they're wondering how do they work around it? How do they create a catalog for the first time? And I'm thinking if we can use some of the time here to think how we can use perhaps Wikibase or something else to help such small-scale libraries to build their first ever digital catalogs. And if you're interested in it, find me. I'm going to be out in the gallery. I'm not a techie, so I have very less experience in working around these things, but I'm happy to help with the context. Thank you.
So let's talk about indexes. I actually love indexes. Someone told me I was being hostile about commercial indexes, but I love indexes. There's so many indexes, so many. There's old indexes, new indexes, historical indexes. Let's map those. And what that means will be up to the group members, but I'm thinking we could figure out what's in the public domain that we could import. We could look at rights information. We could possibly write Wikipedia articles about them, and we can figure out how historical indexes and bibliographies can work with the Wikicite project. We will be upstairs in Tamalpais 4A, sort of adjacent to the newspaper articles project, so possibly we can write some Wikipedia articles also about these meta sources. Thanks.
One thing we didn't mention is that as we're going through these, if you're seeing similarities, there's the possibility or opportunities to combine efforts, and so just kind of keep that in mind for all the idea pitching people. Okay, great.
So, my name is Raymond Yee. One of the things that really intrigued me the first day is the fact that there are about 40,000 books in Wikidata, as opposed to the millions of research articles. And so, as a kind of beginner to this area, that really is puzzling to me. So, I spent the day yesterday in tutorials learning how to write Sparkle. So what this session really is about is a hands-on kind of like exploring that question. Like, what are these 40,000 books? What's the nature of them? Why aren't there more books? What are the barriers? Those types of hands-on questions. Maybe those are questions that people in this room can come up here and tell us the answers. That'd be great, and I would relinquish Goldman 1A, where I'd be. But in the meantime, that's where I'll be, so Goldman 1A. I hope that a lot of you will join me, especially people who've worked with books, Wikidata already, and also very much people who are technical minded. Thank you.
Okay, the title says it all. I've actually been kind of doing this all week, and I'm going to risk a demo in a 1 minute. So this was just typing. This is the current state of it. You can it groups things based on co-author representations, but I've added some things so you can see these are all kind of the same in the same journal. These four. So let's say they're the same person. And you can see what's doing. We'll pick one of these people, and so it doesn't actually do anything right now immediately. It just creates a quick statement set, and you can send it to quick statements. And you'll see it's actually doing the whole thing of including references and removing existing statements that are author strings. So basically what this is, it's ready for the Oh, I'll be probably in Kinsey. I haven't actually looked through. If there's a room there.
Another group too. Another group too.
This is a reminder from last time I was giving on the first day I was giving a talk on information that compiled on historic pseudos and copyrights, and it occurs to me this information could potentially help us fill out a lot of the historic backlog of the Wikicite database, both in metadata and potentially in source that you go online. So what I'd love to do is meet with people that might be interested in helping this actually integrate better with Wikidata, get more information on them, and what we digitize into Wikidata. Looking to could use some ideas on both what kinds of integration would be helpful. I'm looking for folks who might be interested in expanding this data or finding interesting folks who are interested in expanding the data. I really need to write documentation on the JSON files underneath this. Some help with that would be great. I could use some help on how best to move data back and forth to Wikidata without making a mess in the process. There may be some new Wikidata properties that could be useful, so I could use help on that and outreach on that. And since it sounds like there's some overlap between what I was hearing from Phoebe's thing and from the newspaper thing, I'd like to meet up in Tamil Base alongside them. I wasn't quite sure how to claim that space with this one left, so I'd like to take that.
I would like to create a dashboard which can help us track the progress of the Wikicite movement and which can help editors of projects to get a concrete list of to-dos and tasks of how they can help out with Wikicite. So if you have ideas, well, it mainly will involve tracking the number of references and how many of them are converted, but if you have ideas of what else to put on that, then talk to me. And if you know how to track unstructured, untemplated references, which is probably technically the hardest, then also talk to me. I am user TGR, IRC, and I will update this page with which room I'm going to be in. Thanks.
Hello. In order to spread the Wikicite spirit a little bit, I would like to do some recordings for the podcast Open Science Radio. We did this last year already, and this was rather successful in that sense that many people liked it and gave good feedback regarding this. Currently, I've planned 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and I would really invite you, go to the pad, you can add your name there. I might ask also some people, I've already asked some, and we can do short recordings, can be just 1 minute, can be 10 minutes, can be 20, whatever, where you either talk about your project that you brought here or even what you generated during the hacking today. So just contact me by putting your name into the pad. Thank you very much.
Cool. I'm Brian. OABot is this great project that's a tool to help people add references to full text content for sources cited on Wikipedia. So I'd like to Wikidataify this by adding more properties that are like full text can be found at. I've got about 1 million works that have a Wikidata QID and are open access and I know location to. So there's like a technical aspect of this of like figuring out how to put it in or like select a very small subset of those to start doing like one at a time in. But there's also a big social aspect of like deciding like, can we bulk dump these? Like, should we choose a wiki project to associate with? What types of papers? I would say probably like start with green open access. So these are papers that if you follow the DOI link, you'll get a paywall and it's very frustrating, but there might be a copy in an institutional repository somewhere else. So that's like a good quick win for readers. I don't have a room yet, but I'll update the page.
Me again. Sorry, me again, exactly. This is kind of a merge request with number 6, generating more content for basically lessons. So we started already an unofficial library carpentry lesson in this direction, and I would like to get some feedback, and I guess we just sit together and do this together there. Thank you.
This is project clinical trials in Wikidata and Scholia. I spoke with someone yesterday at the dinner. They had an interesting database, and I'm not sure they are here, but if they are, it'd be interesting to see whether this data can be
Thank you. So we're now at number 18. I think we may be hitting our max, so
Hi there. This is going to be a Wikidata Sparkle Jam. So this will be right next door in Kinsey. We'll have a projector. This is continuing some of the things that we did yesterday in the tutorial track. Like Siobhan and other folks had queries that were really getting their goat. They really couldn't figure things out. And there's a lot of benefit in figuring these things out in the street and people learning and helping each other learn how to optimize their queries. So this is where folks can bring their questions on maintenance queries, figuring out modeling issues, and we'll work on it together. So even if you're experienced, this might be really useful to you. So the tools will likely be using Wikidata Query, Wikidata Graph Builder, Tabernacle, PetScan, List Area. If you don't know all those tools, that's good. That means you'll learn something. And we'll be basing a lot of this off the Wikidata and brief guide that we made. So we'll be right next door where the projector is. That's it.
Okay, I picked up Daniel's challenge, and I think we should maybe do some love and care for the citoid in different small languages, as well as for the citation template or the citation queue, whatever, like the QID citation template. So I'm proposing to work on it in Finnish, and I've seen some interest in maybe Swedish, and maybe Welsh, I don't know. But let's see. Anyway, I have no idea where we'll be, and I hope that we'll figure that out.
Hi again. Yeah, that's a proposition for people who don't feel like they could contribute to all those technical things. There are a lot of non-technical things possible to do to improve inventory. Among them, if your language is not at 100%, we need your help. So if your native language is not English, we need your help to get inventory better. And also, if I have the time to do that, we could also see how to import data that is ready to be imported in Wikidata using our new shiny Sparkle thing. And I could help you to find the books that have an author known in Wikidata. We have some, well, we can see that together. But basically to see what is ready to be imported from Inventor to Wikidata, and we could see that. And I will show you how to click the button. And now it's slightly more precise. I will be probably somewhere at the first level.
So Jose and I are going to be working on, it's us, shape expressions. For the purposes of this, I would call a shape an entity template. So we'll be working on the ability to derive one entity template from another, the ability to create, visualize, audit, and sanity check networks of entity templates so that they all make sense together, and basically just check what we're doing. So, oh yeah, where? Out there somewhere. What's that?
Goldman 2A. Goldman 2A. You were here in Goldman 2A.
Oh, we're Goldman 2A, Roger that first space.
Hey, yeah, I guess this is an idea which maybe relates to the thing TJL suggested earlier. But basically, I was thinking it'd be cool to have a dashboard which. Yeah, that'll do. A dashboard which basically tracks the difference between the structured citations that we have on wiki projects and whether or not they're in Wikidata or not. So basically, just have a completeness count for each category of type of citation. Yeah, I think that'd be cool to make and have it like live and update as people make edits. If you want to find me, I'll probably be near TGR if I'm working on that or around.
Okay, so this is not a pitch for something to hack or document, just something you can do in 10 seconds. We have plenty of wiki projects on Wikidata. So depending on what you're passionate about, the shape expressions, periodicals, books, There's a parent wiki project called Source Metadata. There are many more that I'm sure I'm forgetting here. Please join. By joining Wiki project, there's a participant section. If you add there your Wikipedia username, you can get pings and notifications whenever something important happens. So please consider that. Your Wikimedia Unified username, sorry, not your Wikidata username.
So, for those of you who are Wikipedians and you want to learn how to become best friends forever with Aura's revision scoring and with Wikidata in the context of, is the article description missing or is it appropriate in Wikidata, and how to see that from the Wikipedia article, come join me, and I'll be somewhere in the Wikidata tutorial spaces because you might want to go back and forth.
Yeah, just a very quick announcement that we have this data set available for you to play with. It contains all citations with identifiers in Wikipedia, characterized with a topic label according to the articles where they appear, and accessibility label, so whether they're open access at the source, there is an open access copy available, or they're behind the paywall. So please play with it if you want to have some fun with Wikipedia references. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that concludes our round one. So we'll move on to round two. These are pitches from people who have already pitched and followed the rules and put it in the round two.
Some others did not follow the rules. We know who you are.
So I was walking home last night from the social and went by Half Price Books and was browsing in the comics section and was thinking about expanded universe crossovers. You know, like what happens if the Star Trek Federation battles the Empire from Star Wars, who would win? Or, you know, if Black Panther and Wonder Woman got together and fight injustice, what would that be like? Well, I'm thinking there might be similar crossovers we can have between some of our projects. So I've been working on a project called Vivo, which some of you have also been working on, which has institutional data and scholars' activity and publications, and of course Wikicite also has global data and scholars' publications. Vivo has profiles and visualization, and Scully has profiles and visualization. So what would happen if we teamed up to fight injustice and ignorance? I don't know what that would look like, so maybe we can have a discussion about it at the lunch. Some of the things we might talk about are working out possible use cases, planning data mapping between Vivo schema and Wikidata schema, maybe experimenting with data exchange, or maybe just documenting your recurring pitches for respective groups to work together. And maybe that would include drawing some comics. Thank you.
This is related to Tom Arrow's project, trying to identify citations in Wikipedia that has equivalent Wikidata items and exposing them in the Scolia interface.
Yeah, this one I have already merged into session 16.1 because when I was typing this, I was searching for the existing pitches, whether anyone had mentioned education. Nobody did, but they have it implicit, and so if you're interested in Wikicite and education, I have reserved a room for the second time slot, and we will try to figure out something with the library carpentry folks and whoever else was in that, which was already merged with number 6 as well.
Success. Yes. Oh.
How many people here have played mix and match before? How many people are confident with what they're doing with mix and match? So some hands start going down, right? So this is a fun idea we had at WikiDataCon last year. So this is let's play mix and match together, because almost everyone who's done mix and match has done it in isolation by themselves. has probably never talked to anyone about anything they've done on Mix and Match before. So what are the thought processes of folks doing yes, no, confirm, remove? And after a quick experiment where we did this over beers at WikiDataCon, it was really fascinating to see what a French speaker and a German speaker and an English speaker all thought of certain decisions being done in Mix and Match. So I thought we could do this in one of the sessions we had. So we'll spend about 3 minutes just showing Mix and Match to people who have no idea what it is, and then we could try different data sets and have different people drive at the front of the screen and have people debate whether we are choosing yes, no, maybe, and show different interfaces to Mix and Match, because some of you might have only used the desktop or the mobile or not some of the more advanced features of Mix and Match. So I thought that might be fun. That's it.
So I probably won't have time to work on this, so it's more an advertisement on a page, but maybe someone is interested in talking about it and then following up later. So Blockly is a visual development environment for programming languages, which is targeted at non-developers who are completely new to the language and mostly to programming. There is a SparkWall interface to Blockly, which has a tutorial for running SparkWall, which is based on DBpedia, and it would be nice to take that and rewrite it so that it uses Wikidata. Thanks.
Yeah, so in this round, I've also reserved a room, so that's basically my original schedule. I want to work on property proposals. I have a long list of things I actually want to propose as Wikidata properties. I've never come around to actually do those. And so if there's time, then I'll work on that. Somebody else mentioned property proposal as well, so if you're interested in that, there is a room for that. And I have a list of other ideas that I've just put in here as supplementary ideas, and everybody's welcome to run those.
So, are there any more? I think that's it, right?
Refresh it just in case.
Yeah, just, all right. So with that, we have gone through 25 plus 6 is 31. So 31 idea pitches. Those that pitched, some of you were able to get in where you're going to be. Some of you said that you put them in your slides or in information. So hopefully that each of you make those decisions and get that information recorded in the program. As we were discussing earlier, in the program there are these areas. You can see people have started to already claim them, and as we mentioned before, there are multiple time slots. So the next time slot is at 10:30, but we can go ahead and take a break and get started on moving into those time slots. And then we will have a short time where we will run around the room screaming, "Document, document," so that we all focus on documentation. We'll take lunch, do some lightning talks, and then there's a second slot in the afternoon for you to claim if you're working on projects, new ones or continuing from the morning. Again, another fire drill document scream, and then we will take a break and continue in the late afternoon. We want to make sure that everybody's work is something that is presentable, so either through a single slide or through something fun. We want each of the projects that work on today to think about what they can do this afternoon at the show and tell. With that, are there any other announcements from organizers or anybody else?
Yeah, quick service announcement. There will be power extensions, power cables in each room, in a corner of the room, so please feel free to grab them. If you need more, you can find me or someone else from the organizing committee. We're going to get them from the venue. Thank
you. Daniel has nothing else to say, no other pitches, so I think we can...
I follow the rules.
Great, we'll follow her. Okay, so I think we're ready. We'll just take a break and go ahead and start organizing into our teams for starting work. And now we clap.
Yeah,
Which their idea? Yeah, you like which idea to school? Yeah, you can talk to her. Yeah. I'm gonna get breakfast and we can talk later.
Actually, I mentioned that on the